Good evening, Summoners, and welcome to the GPL Summer Split. My name is Wolf, and of course, on the casting table with me this time with a handheld mic will be J-Storm.
So, good evening, Summoners, and this is the third day of the first week of the Garena Premier League. Already, the first 2 days have gone by, and my goodness, Wolf, the results of those games, I have to say, although you might say that most of them went as... okay, the mic's back.
We originally had mic problems with the wireless mics, the hands-free mics, and now we're having slight issues with the hands-on mic, sorry.
Yes, definitely. That speaking of issues, some of the larger teams, they seem to have issues against some of the weaker teams coming into the Garena Premier League. We haven't seen any major upsets just yet, but I've got a feeling today, Wolf. I've got a feeling.
You've got a feeling that?
We might see our first upset.
Okay. But before we actually talk about today's matches, let's kind of recap what happened yesterday. That sounds good. So let's take a look at the the matches for yesterday and who won and who lost. So yesterday was quite an interesting day because we kind of kicked it off with the Vietnamese showdown, and you know, we had Saigon Fantastic 5 being the ones to come out top ahead of NFL, and then following which Rebirth really I felt kind of underperformed in my opinion, but NFL really did a fantastic job of shutting LY4 down in the top lane.
Okay, I just want to talk a little bit more about Neolution Fu Lewis right now. Okay, never mind, I'll go on to that later. The third game of yesterday was the Bangkok Titans going up against Insidious Gaming Legends. Insidious Gaming Legends going under the tag of Insidious Gaming previously. They did knock out, or they did beat out Bangkok Titans in a rather convincing game in Game 3, taking Dragon after Dragon. And in the fourth game, we saw the Zulu Taipei Assassins 10-0 in the group stages of the previous split,
decimated
against 0-10 in the previous split Imperium Pro Team. And that was a complete blowout.
Yeah, that game was, well, I mean, they really decimated IPT in that one. But yes, NFL, you were kind of talking about it earlier also, and you have something to say about them.
Well, I would say that I'm very impressed with the way that they've improved into this split so far. It's 2 games. I'm not trying to jump the gun here or create too much of a hype train, but definitely they seem to have shot up a lot of their previous mistakes. Previously, they were known for this very reckless over-aggression, walking into the opponent's jungle without wards and then throwing at Baron. While they did throw at Baron against the Saigon Fantastic 5, I have to say they have been playing a much more cleaner game against their opponents in their 2 games.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, we won't be seeing them playing today, but the thing is that they really seem to have a game plan coming into each of these games. So let's kind of take a look at the schedule of the matches that we'll have in week 1, day number 3. So first off, kicking off the day is going to be the Saigon Jokers up against the Bangkok Titans, following which game number 2 is HQ Fighters against ISG Legends.
And the third game for today will be the battle of the 2 new bloods. Mashi Esports going up against Insidious Gaming Rebirth. And rounding up the action for tonight, we will have War Gods going up against AHQ Esports.
I really like today's matches because all the new blood or the new additions to the GPL will be playing tonight. And all of them, fun fact, have lost their first games. They all went 0-1. So it was a new blood killer day in day number 1. Let's see if any of these new teams can actually rack their first win in day number 3 of the Garena Premier League. So before we actually get into talking about the first game, Saigon Jokers up against the Bangkok Titans, let's take a look at the 2 teams and who their players are.
Tạ Tùng Đột mắt được cắm vào, có một cú Thái Dương hạ sang tuyệt vời của Vigos, và chắc chắn Minat không gặp nguy hiểm, thậm chí họ đang lao lên tấn công. Vigos đang bắn Minat tạm thời đưa ra, hay bắn chiêu cuối ra. Bây giờ Jungle đang tới nhưng ta không có tốc biến, khó tiếp cận, tốc biến làm choáng. G là người bị giữ lại và Jungle đã tới, sát thương là sẽ có đủ mạng dành cho Vigos. chừng khoảng 1/3 máu, kéo được Headwater và anh ta bay vào có chiêu cuối hết bắn phía ngoài. Jungle thì chưa làm cả, có một cú thay rất đẹp của Headwater.
Xoáy được Oriel lại, đó là tình huống mà Safety lao tới. Sóng am luôn sẽ công độ động cơ tuyệt vời. Away bị đá ngược trở lại, tổng hợp Away sẽ phải nằm xuống.
Rất kiên nhẫn, Goni lại lăn bụng, kích hoạt phản công, có chiêu cuối rất đẹp và Jungle nhảy xuống nhưng quanh bộ cũng kích hoạt chiêu cuối, đã về được rồi, tốc biến vào và tốc biến đá ngược ra, quanh bộ đứng lại quậy, anh ta sẽ không thể nào chống được, đã phải nằm xuống.
Percent damage, maybe some missing health there. Now Sek might get taken down here. Last year will get taken down. Fantastic play by Sek. He is kiting everybody on HQ. He gets the double kill. Now Green Team might get taken down. The slow from the red bump. The quick draw coming out from Sek. He'll get a triple kill.
Wall of was killed earlier on, getting also all over. Flash alongside with Commander says, oh, this is a really good play coming in. Auto attack and Inferno.
TF โอ้โหสุดละแปดจุดเต็มเท้าดึงแบบไปเป็นเดคอยแทนครับในจังหวะนี้แล้วเอฟเป้าไปรวบสวยครับตีนะครับแล้วไปครับแต่ไม่พออยู่ดีครับเลยนันโผล่มาแล้วครับเขามาแล้วครับแต่ตัวเขาบางไปนิดนึงครับแล้วเขาก็จมอยู่ตรงนั้นครับเป็นชิปเป็นฟิลจากตี
โดงครับอยู่ในฤดูที่เรียกได้ว่าโดนฆ่านั่นเองแกเซียพิซซันขังไป2นะครับจังหวะนี้มาเตอร์ยีเหลาไป1แล้วครับชาวีหายไปก่อนเลยจังหวะนี้ฮาเลลูยาเองไหลเข้าไปตามโดนยกเข้าไป2จังหวะนี้โตปูเข้าไปแล้วเหลืออีกทั้งนั้นเซตอีกทีคนเดียวครับแล้วก็เมดิเทตภาวนาตัว
ไปก็ไปสตันก็ไปในจังหวะนี้กูมดูเหมือนจะไม่รอดแน่นอนแล้วพยายามปาดก็ไปปาดอีกหนึ่งครั้งพร้อมกับเบสอัพเอ็กซ์ไซด์ครับผม
And we're back. So picks and bans are not underway just yet, but just to recap, if you guys are just joining us, welcome to the GPL Summer Split. My name's Wolf, of course, on the casting table is J-Storm. And first match is about to get underway. The Saigon Jokers will be taking on the Bangkok Titans. What are your predictions for this game?
Well, I have to say though, if the track record serves me right, and I've been riding the Saigon Jokers hype train for quite a while since the previous split, so I would definitely have to go with the Saigon Jokers, and I'm hoping it will be a whitewash in their favor. But nonetheless, the Saigon Jokers, they've undergone quite some major roster changes, taking a very large part of the Saigon Fantastic Fire's roster and swapping some of the members back over to their team as well. Whereas on the Bangkok Titans, they have seen their fair share of roster swaps as well, with 7X now playing in the jungle.
Yeah, I was actually about to ask you about the roster swaps, but since you've talked about it already, let's kind of tune the topic back to the viewers first. So if you guys are just joining us, welcome. Welcome to the Garena Stadium, welcome to the Twitch streams, welcome to the YouTube streams, but don't forget we also have the Talk Talk stream. J-Storm, you might want to talk a little bit about the Talk Talk.
So with regards to that, you can see over here at the bottom of the screen, you can join the esports room. I believe is room number 88 on the Talk channel, and there are free skins to be won every day. Just join in the room, and there will be a moderator who will be asking you a question. The prizes will be a skin from the Pentakill series.
Yeah, and speaking about prizes, don't feel left out if you guys don't have the Garena Plus. What do you call it? Application or client? Yeah, that's right. If you guys are on our Twitch stream or YouTube stream and have a Facebook or Twitter account and you play in the Singapore and Malaysian server, use the hashtag GPL Esports. We want to hear your views about the games and maybe about us as commentators, but mainly about the teams and those really big plays from the GPL. In addition to that, if you answer our question to the week, remember to set your post public. Yes, please remember to set your post public. Which teams do you want to see in the top 4 of the GPL summer split? So I kind of posed this question to, I believe it was Chris, when I was casting with him on Wednesday. I'd like to hear your predictions for the top 4 teams.
I want to see the Bangkok Titans, Imperium Pro team, War Gods, as well as Insidious Gaming Rebirth being the top 4.
These are what you want to see.
Because that would mean Insidious Gaming Rebirth will win the GPL.
So does that mean Rebirth can only beat these 3 teams?
No, I think they can beat a fair share of teams as well. But those are the 3 teams that will give them the highest chances of winning the Garena Premier League.
I think I'm not going to say any more about these 3 teams because we are into picks and bans. Saigon Jokers playing against the Bangkok Titans. Saigon Jokers are on the blue side and BKT are on the purple side. Kale, Pantheon, and Lulu have already been banned out by these teams. Let's see what BKT has in store for the next ban coming in.
So Kale and Pantheon, it is very interesting that Saigon Jokers will choose to ban out Pantheon because Pantheon is one of safety's staple junglers, and his performance on Pantheon, he played it 9 times in the previous split and he won 8 out of 9 times. I believe 1 loss was against the Taipei Snipers, but in this case, it is very interesting to see them ban out this jungler, considering that double 7x, he did play a Pantheon yesterday, but he didn't really play that all too well. Nonetheless, Kill and Twisted Fate will be the other 2 bans coming from the Saigon Jokers, whereas Lulu and Yasuo have been banned out by Bangkok Titans so far. So 4 mid lane bans and a jungle ban.
Yeah, I really want to kind of talk about why our teams have been banning out the mid laners so much, because it's quite interesting and we always see very non-superior mid lane bans, especially in the current meta, so much so that Lulu and Kassadin tends to get through, and even Nidalee at times. So our teams haven't been really picking those champions or even banning out those champions, and now we see the final ban being Jack, so that means Kassadin is still open. Nidalee can still be used now that Yasuo has been banned out. That's one of the easiest counters to Nidalee in the mid lane.
So this is the 4.8 patch. Kha'Zix and Kassadin, they have not received the major nerfs yet, and they are still a very potent force. And we might see the Saigon Jokers actually pick up Kassadin as their first pick over here, unless they're considering picking up another power pick in the form of perhaps, say, the jungler of the choice. And oh, they're actually hovering a Maokai in this situation. We might see a Maokai in the top lane. The Saigon Jokers, previously Goni was the one on Saigon Fantastic 5 to actually bust out the top lane Gragas in the previous split. We might see him trying to mix things up a little, but it will be the Kassadin instead.
Yeah, I mean, no surprise there. Kassadin being led through the pick and ban phase. I mean, if they didn't ban Jax, I would expect Saigon Jokers to give Jax over to, I believe it... Wait, who's that top lane? Sorry. I wanted to say QTV, but it's not QTV anymore, so it's Goni in their top lane, so they kind of make those swaps. You talked about it just now. And leaving Kassadin open and first picking it is going to allow SAJ to make those mid lane roams whenever they can. And Nyx Water is no stranger to that champion either. The Bangkok Titans now are considering the Kha'Zix for 007X, and like you said, Kassadin and Kha'Zix, both these K champions, haven't been kind of nerfed because this is still the 4.8 patch.
Okay, this is something very interesting that I would see a lot, that I would think a lot of teams would be doing against the Vietnamese teams, especially Saigon Jokers and Saigon Fantastic 5, because the mid laners, Nyx Water and Optimus, they aren't really that proficient on Kassadin. So a lot of times we will see these teams, they would, especially on red side, they would deliberately leave Kassadin open so that they will waste the first pick on the Kassadin and they can go for 2 very strong picks in response to that. And that's what we are seeing here. They're going for the support, a very top tier support in the form of Trash, as well as one of the best junglers, Kha'Zix.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, now having that locked in for them, they can really open up their picks in terms of the team composition that they might want to go for. Thresh and Kha'Zix can literally fit in almost any sort of composition, whether you want it to be a pick, hard, engage composition, even those assassin-like composition. They can really fulfill those roles.
A little bit more about safety's jungling skills. about Safety's jungling style, his two main champions are Pantheon as well as Kha'Zix. So in this situation, because Saigon Jokers, they have banned out the Pantheon, and Bangkok Titans, they picked up the Kha'Zix because Saigon Jokers went for the Kassadin first pick. We see Safety actually playing a Lee Sin, and sometimes, yes, his Lee Sin might perform well on certain days. Generally, Safety hasn't really been able to find the impact that he needs to find playing these high-impact junglers such as Lee Sin, Evelyn, or Elise.
Yeah, we have to see how well he performs against this Bangkok Titan roster, in which the team composition and the champion pick so far seem to be going in Bangkok Titans' favor, because, you know, now that Lucian has been snatched out by the Saigon Jokers, Bangkok Titans can go for their Twitch pick in the dual lane, and they might want to go for a high priority top lane champion, or even just pick a counter to Kassadin if they can.
I think an Orianna here will be a very good choice, but nonetheless, Ziggs is something that G4 and the entire Bangkok Titan team is very confident playing. Usually we see Bangkok Titans, they default to poke compositions such as Ziggs and Nidalee in the mid lane, but this would be very interesting that they would be pairing this together with a Twitch. Although Twitch does have very high pick potential, it's very short range, makes it very hard for the team to siege sweep should they try to go for a poke composition. So they will be locking the Ziggs and unlocking the wave and poke potential, but I think we will have to see the last pick in this situation to see what kind of strategy the Bangkok Titans will be going for.
Yeah, that's right. So the Saigon Jokers now, with their final two picks, will be looking for a top laner and a support. What do you think they are going for to kind of complement Archie on Lucian, and what kind of top laner now that they're kind of picking blind to Bangkok Titans?
Okay, the thing about Lucian is that he's a very versatile AD carry, so you can actually pick anything to him, and that support will almost always pair well together with Lucian. So the question is, what is their top lane choice going to be to enable them to find the picks onto the Twitch as well as the Ziggs? Because engaging onto the backline is going to be a very important part of dismantling the Bangkok Titans composition. If you don't have the tools necessary to get into the face of Twitch or Ziggs in these compositions, you're going to get shredded by the bouncing bombs as well as the spray and pray as Bangkok Titans kites away from your team.
That's
So
right.
it looks like their choice will be Irelia in the top lane, a champion with very strong diving potential in the late game.
Yeah, she can become quite a menace to deal with, especially once she picks up those core items. And wow, this is an interesting top lane pick coming up for the Bangkok Titans. I mean, I've known that, you know, Warlock can play the Malphite in the top lane, but seeing it now is, you know, Bangkok Titans showing that, hey, we are extremely confident about our team composition. You have given us the Kha'Zix, you have given us the Ziggs, you've given us the Twitch, and Sek is pretty strong AD carry in his own right, and now they're going with the Malphite, using that unstoppable force combo. If you really can layer it over with all that burst damage coming out from both Sek and G4 playing Twitch and the Ziggs, it's quite a deadly combination.
I think the choice to go for Ziggs here is very telling of what G4 is comfortable playing, because Orianna in this situation would definitely be far superior to Ziggs. Definitely Ziggs has got very strong wave clear. Orianna definitely will provide suitable wave clear against what Saigon Jokers has to offer. But going for Ziggs in this situation is just saying that he's not that comfortable playing an Orianna in this situation, and could really reveal that this team isn't really that comfortable playing a Twitch composition.
Okay, so from what I just heard, now that the pick and ban phase is now over, we have to remake the room because one of the observers actually crashed there. So we're going back in, but now that we kind of know what the team compositions are, and you kind of talked about the Orianna pick, but how much do you like SAJ? Because I know BKT is quite comfortable in their picks. Yes, they might have wanted to go with an Orianna instead of the Ziggs, but let's not talk about BKT all too much anymore. Let's focus on SAJ.
I think the Saigon Jokers they have a very strong composition coming into this. The only thing that I felt could have been better would be the support pick. I feel that Leona in this situation will be far superior to the choice of Nami. Although Nami does provide very solid disengage, she is a very easy target to pick off and is very susceptible to the hard initiation that can be coming in from the Malphite, as well as the Twitch ambush if Nami were to be caught warding out alone. So in this case, they have to put a lot of resources into protecting the Nami and making sure they don't lose a member immediately if any team fight starts. Also, the ultimate of Nami, we usually see that being played with more skilling-centric comps, so as to find a disengage or more peel-centric comps together with Nidalee or Caitlyn to find the peel that they need to kite away from the opponent's team. But in this situation, Saigon Jokers is the team that wants to be engaging onto their opponents. Well, you can catch people out of a bubble, but the range of Solar Flare as well as the Zenith Blade provide far superior options into engaging onto an opponent team.
Yeah, I mean, Nami can provide some of that CC, as you have kind of said, and she can provide some sustain as well. But yes, I think, like you said, the key what's the word? The key winning factors for SAJ is to get into the backlines, to get into Ziggs, to get into the face of Twitch as well. So we are into the game already, and here we go. Saigon Jokers are playing on the blue side, and the Bangkok Titans will be playing on the red side. And let's see how this game is going to progress, because Saigon Jokers seem to be having that 4-man stack up in the top half of the map, where we see Uzi here just, you know, putting that ward down to the red buff to kind of spot out any of that BKT late invade shenanigans.
It is very interesting that Saigon Jokers are going for this 4-man stack up into the top lane. It might be indicative of them going for the 2-2-0 push that we have been seeing very commonly in the meta game. Usually we see teams go for this when either A, they have very weak lanes, or B, they want to create a scenario where they want to be finding picks either at 7 minutes or the 12-minute marks. Because what's going to happen is that they're going to take an aggressive buff timer on the opponent's red buff in this situation and make use of these buff timer windows to find picks in the opponent's jungle. As well. Another thing that this will enable is that this will create a very deep lane for the top laner to be able to farm it. In this case, Irelia outskills Warlock on the Malphite very hard. So this will work in our favor. But it is rather interesting because already they have superior lanes as compared to Bangkok Titans. So actually going for this might be indicative that they are a lot more confident finding those picks. They want to play this game a lot more proactively, and we should be seeing them going for these picks in the 7 to 12 minute mark, especially with safety on their Lee Sin as they walk over a red ward.
Yeah, that's right. So SAJ here walking through the jungle of BKT, going with the counter invade here. Bangkok Titans will need to respond to this. So counter jungling here at the red buff. Safety will be able to pick that one up easily. And of course, Bangkok Titans had all the information they needed. I will expect 007X to walk into his opponent's red buff and pick that one up. So junglers now having the 2 buff starts. And it seems that SAJ here will be going for that lane swap.
Now my question is, will Saigon Jokers be picking up the second buff for themselves? Because yesterday, Saigon Fantastic 5, when they played against Neolution Pullers, they elected not to go for their blue buff in this scenario, went and got the early turret down, and then after they had the top laner and jungler swap back down into the bottom lane to prevent their own turret from going down and alleviate the pressure onto the early dragon.
Yeah, it does seem like that will be the case, because there we have a 4-man stack up in the top lane, and you know, doing this, how does it change the game here? Because with the first turret going down so early into the game, I mean, going with that 4-0 push in the top, I mean, what kind of benefits does SAJ gain out of this?
The advantage is that they will be getting a goal lead from this turret, and what happens is that they will be able to defend their bottom lane turret the moment Irelia decides to teleport down there, and Safety will be moving down there. But this is a little bad for them, because Goni just took 2 turret shots to the face, so he will have to recall before it teleports down to the bottom lane. And at a point of time, it will be just in the timer when BKT 007X, 7X, as well as Warlock will be there in position for a dive. So it is going to be very dangerous for Goni to be teleporting to the bottom lane. So Saigon Jokers, it looks like they will be pressing the option and going on to the second tier turret in this case.
Yeah, they are going to have send 007X and Warlock for the recall here. Teleport coming in by Warlock as well. He will be backed up by Lloyd on Fresh. They're going to allow Sek to kind of farm it out in the bottom lane. And of course, a level 3 Twitch up against a level 2 Irelia. How's that matchup going to work? They feel comfortable leaving Sek there down in the bottom lane.
Well, in this situation, Twitch is a ranged champion and he should be able to do some damage because he has a level advantage over Goni. But if anyone were to visit the bottom lane right now, because there's no support available, so if Safety, the moment he finishes up his jungle camps, or even Nami in this situation, if she were to visit the bottom lane, Goni has got a lot of gap closing potential and should be able to peel onto Sek very easily.
Yeah, Uzi is making that rotation down. And speaking of which, SAJ Vigos is not playing the support role today. It's going to be Uzi. Goes in with a flash, and there we see Sek being taken down. The Ignite as well as that final auto attack from Goni will be enough to secure the kill. First blood to SAJ.
So this is a situation that you usually end up with when you go for the 2-2-0. The moment the first tower goes down, instead of sending your support to stay with your AD carry, because you know your AD carry is going to be facing a 1v1 against your opponent's top laner, usually both need to send your supports around the map to try and make picks happen.
Oh, in the mid lane though, the Aqua Princess hitting on to G4. Mixed Water will be forced to get out of there as fast as possible. Safety there for some, additional reassurance to get the kill secure onto G4. So 2 early kills, 1 early turret to SAJ. They now have the 2,200 gold lead.
this seems to be a very well rehearsed routine between both the Saigon teams as the 7X goes into the top lane.
Oh no, Archie in a whole bunch of trouble. I don't think he's able to get away from this one. Uses the Relentless Pursuit and nice flash over a wall, causing both Warlock and 7X to burn the flashes. Archie then nearly taking 7X down, but that auto attack from Warlock will be enough, and 7X will walk away with his own life.
Well, I have to say that it was very careless of Archie to be in the top lane in the situation, knowing that 7X could be around that area. I have to say that his decision to stand around in his own creeps to avoid taking additional isolation damage and to put as much damage on the 7X as possible is definitely commendable. He definitely made the best out of a bad situation there, and now 7X is forced to recall.
Alright, let's see how the rest of the map is going to play out. So next water here, doing a pretty good job against G4 farming in the lane, and G4 actually, even though he died once, he still managed to keep up in farm. Next water already has his catalyst of the protector, so that's going to build in a Rod of Ages quite shortly.
One of the other interesting things about the fight in the top lane was that because he was standing so near the creeps actually took a lot of damage from the AoE spells coming from Warlock and 7X. So this actually broke the freeze in the top lane, and now the wave is pushing out towards the blue side of the map, and Archie will be able to farm that up for himself.
Alright, let's take a look at how the rest of the team is gonna go. So G4 as well as Nyx Water just kind of farming it up and, you know, poking back and forth. Now Goni in the bottom lane against Sek. This, you know, marksman versus the top lane bruiser. Is it beneficial for BKT to leave Goni alone like that?
Well, Goni is definitely a very strong scaling champion, and what you usually see teams do is that when you have a deep lane, you want to set up for a very strong dive onto them. But in this case, BKT, they have not actually managed to down the outer turret. So this has created a situation where a dive is a lot more easier to execute, but the wave on the side will not be as large, making a dive a lot more risky under the turret. But nonetheless, I would say that with a Trash as well as a Kha'Zix available to the team, they should be actually going for this aggressive dive onto Goni.
Yeah, they haven't been doing that at all, and you know, 7X is, after that one kill in the top lane, has just been happily farming his jungle, and nothing much has really happened after that. And you know, with SAJ having these high scaling late game champions such as Irelia and Kassadin, it makes me wonder whether BKT is ready to deal with it in the late game. Oh, Goni actually gets a solo kill onto Sek in the bottom lane there, and that was just completely uncalled for.
Well, definitely, when you leave a champion alone against an Irelia, although Goni hasn't really picked up any of the major items just yet. Oh, actually, no, Saigon Jokers, they're waiting for a pick in the Dragon Pit. And actually, they start up onto the Dragon, and now Bangkok Titans, they will be moving around the back. They're trying to respond to this. The poke coming in from the bouncing bomb might be a little bit much for the Saigon Jokers to do.
Teleport coming down. Let's see if a fight will break out. Archie's onto the sideline, gets the depth sentence, and there we go, the Mega Inferno Bomb gets the kill, gets the double kill. G4 forcing SAJ to walk away from the Dragon Pit area. BKT and SAJ, neither of these teams have managed to kill or slay the dragon just yet. SAJ still poking their heads around, and you know, they were all clumped up in that area. Perfect timing for BKT to launch all that AoE damage and go for the initiate.
In this situation, safety is nowhere near. The Culling comes up, but safety will be nowhere near to get the steal. But nonetheless, 8 minutes into the game, the Dragon really wasn't worth too much, and Saigon Jokers, they also will have the timer onto the next one. But what's big here is that Warlock missed out the entire wave in the top lane. So there was a lot of experience that was missed out. Actually, let's go into replay of what happened. This is the Dragon fight, very similar to how Saigon Fantastic 5 gave a lead to Fu Lewis yesterday. Saigon Jokers, they got too aggressive trying to go for some objectives, and they get caught out by a response from their opponents. So this is a response from Bangkok Titans coming in, landing the wombo combo onto multiple members of Saigon Jokers and winning the engage 2-for-1.
Yeah, I actually saw that Warlock decided to just use the Unstoppable Force to go all in onto both Nyx Water as well as Archie. That really prevented a lot of that follow-up damage from coming along. So easy Dragon pick up there for the Bangkok Titans, and since SAJ was just all grouped up, Warlock and G4 was just, you know, in the perfect prime position to launch all their AoE, crowd control, and damaging abilities. But in that time though, Lloyd gets caught out in the jungle safety, and 7X needs to run away from this one. Now Warlock actually joins the fight, gets kicked back. Three members of SAJ continue to chase. Lots of slows coming out. Resonating Strike, Cripple, Tempest. Every single slow there being used. Warlock is not able to get away from that one.
And this was exactly what I was talking about at the start of the game. Because Saigon Jokers, they elected to go for this lane swap, even though they knew that they had stronger laning phases. If they were to default to the normal lanes, they wanted to set up for their pick in the jungle. They are going to be contesting the opponent's jungle very aggressively and finding these picks whenever these buffs respawn. We saw just one. This was the second rotations buff at 9 minutes.
Oh, Sek in a whole bunch of trouble now. Both champions using their ultimates. Sek having to pop that heal, and it does seem like Goni uses that blade whilst the blade surge to just run away completely.
Dancing
and the
around
flash
with
as
those,
well.
Dancing around with those swift feet, using the blade surge to run and definitely a flash as well. There has to be a little bit questionable from Goni. He only has completed a phase just yet. If he went for Sheen instead, he would have a much larger power spike going in to do more damage.
Oh,
as he
she
goes
in
for one more time.
Strike. And there we see a lot of damage coming out. Goni wants to go back onto the... Wow. He really wanted to go in on aggressive. Sek still had his flash and is a ranged champion, so he had all the time in the world. In the mid lane low, they trade Kassadin for Ziggs, and now Safety will get caught up by Warlock. Uses the Unstoppable Force to catch him off guard, and G4 picks up a double kill for himself. He is now on a rampage.
It feels like Saigon Jokers, they got a little bit too comfortable and complacent with their lead, and we see them being unnecessarily over-aggressive. Well, while the buff in Fate was all part of their plan, we saw first of all in the bottom lane, Goni taking a fight that he couldn't take. And then later on, we saw Nixwater overextending into a fight that he shouldn't have been in and giving unnecessary kills to the South Bangkok Titans.
Yeah, let's take a look at the replay on the missed kill. So J-Storm, take me through the kills.
So this is what happens to Safety and Nixwater. They try to catch out BKT 00's 7X, but now G4 and Lloyd are there to respond to it, and the damage from the Ziggs, it bursts Kassadin down. Although Kassadin has a spell shield available for him, he used
In the
it
mid
in
lane
his
though,
earlier
some
burst.
action happening. We just saw Lloyd get taken down there, but the counter kill onto Uzi. A lot of fights happening in this game. The kill score is 8-7, 12 minutes in. So many of them we just barely missed. But nevertheless, it's 1-for-1 in the mid lane. SAJ still has that gold lead despite losing the dragon and losing out in a few of those fights.
I have to say though, the way Saigon Jokers and Saigon Fantastic 5, the way that both of these teams have approached these games, I have liked it, but the execution so far, especially towards this point of the game, has been a little lacking. We see both of these teams, yesterday's SF5 against Full Lewis as well. We saw them unnecessarily overextending. We are actually kind of comparing to the old Full Lewis, where they find themselves over-aggressing into situations where they shouldn't be in, as once again, Nixwater tries to find some damage onto G4 Archie comes around the side.
7X will use his active camouflage, but that's not going to do much in this situation. There are so many members of SAJ in the mid lane. Safety, RG, Uzi, and even Nixwater all there. So the 4-man stack of SAJ will prevent any sort of counter initiation coming up from 7X. But all in all, you know, SAJ here, as well as BKT, I really expected this game to be a little bit more different. I expected a lot like normal lanes, as you kind of have called out, and not such sporadic fights all over the map.
But now we see the warding being set up around the red side's blue buff in this situation. This was what I was talking about. Once again, this is the third rotation of buffs that will be coming out, and Saigon Jokers will be looking to contest that. Safety is actually moving towards that position now. He has got a rough idea of the timer, because previously when they took the buff, Saigon Jokers were attempting a dragon fight in this situation. So now Bangkok Titans, they are actually have a very weird timer on their blue buff. So those wards might actually be placed a little bit too early for the Saigon Jokers.
Next one in a whole bunch of trouble. Sek here using the rat-a-tat-tat to pick that one up. He got caught out by both Warlock as well as Lloyd. I saw the Unstoppable Force go on cooldown, so he got just completely smashed in the face by that rock there.
So the Kassadin being played by these Vietnamese teams, they aren't really that impressive so far. But let's take a look at a replay of what happened. So now this Nixwater going in once again, unnecessarily aggressive, and he got caught up by 3 members. Unstoppable Force lands onto him, and he doesn't stand a chance. Wilford may give you a flash every 7 seconds, but when locked up under the burst and CC of a Malphite, there's not much escaping them.
Yeah, what was Nixwater doing there? Just, you know, walking up to Lloyd like that, and with Warlock, you know, so near. That was just completely uncalled for. He shouldn't be there at that point. And that just gave a easy kill to Bangkok Titans. Nice sidestep by Archie. The death sentence will not land, so he's just gonna go there, CS a little bit, and get play a bit of interference so that SAJ can pick up this dragon uncontested. BKT had the dragon control, had the dragon timer as well, so I fully expected them to contest SAJ at this dragon area, but that did not happen, giving SAJ the uncontested dragon and the blue buff as well from next quarter.
Very well played by Saigon Jokers. Once again, very consistent with the game plan to contest these small objectives such as their opponent's buffs. Although they did pick up a dragon for themselves, they have been sticking to their plan very well this game and been picking all these side and small objectives to secure themselves a 2,000 gold lead at this point of time.
Yeah, that's right. So SAJ, within the span of 1 minute, they managed to secure a dragon uncontested, didn't get any damage being dealt onto them. They went in, happily found 007X as well as G4 trying to get the blue buff, took that one away as well, and with Archie pushing in the mid lane, they managed to get that mid lane tier 1 turret. That's going to open up the map a lot. This 2,000 gold lead is going to help them a whole bunch, and if we look at the items a little bit, Trinity Force already completed onto Goni. That's a important power spike for an Irelia player to hit.
Okay, I have this theory about Saigon Jokers and the Saigon Fantastic Five picking up this Castle in the mid lane. It feels like both of them, they have orchestrated a very similar early game plan to each other. But what I feel is that the champion that they want to be playing the mid lane is LeBlanc. But because both of these times they executed these strategies, they were on the blue side, and the red side didn't ban out Cassidy, which some people feel is a very strong matchup against LeBlanc. Oh, next water goes in on to 7X, but that's not enough. So to continue that, because they feel that Cassidy is a strong matchup against LeBlanc and can match LeBlanc's rotations very well. So they actually force into picking up a Cassidy, which is a champion that they haven't really been practicing because they are expecting it to be banned out. So usually what we would be seeing next water and Optimus playing should be LeBlanc in this mid lane position instead of the Cassidy.
Yeah, interesting that you kind of noticed that. So SAJ here forcing to pick up the Cassidy but not using it to full effect. And Nick's Water, we just saw that he may not be, as you predicted, completely comfortable in that champion because he's been putting himself in very awkward positions, preventing him from getting out despite having the Rift Walk. So it's just a testament to show, oh, he's actually in a little bit of trouble now. Sek using the Rat-a-tat-tat, gets the kill that will the poison take be enough to take him down. Goni goes in with the teleport. Now he is actually being met by Archie. Blade Surge and a flash over the wall will allow Archie to pick that one. And Lloyd will have to flash away. Wanted to save his lane counterpart there, but was unable to do that at all.
Well, first I have to say that was a little bit scrappy from Nick's Water. He put himself in a very dangerous situation. Although Sek was unable to find a kill, he was definitely in a very overextended position. His teammates were nowhere near, especially when you have a trash. I have to say this could have been Lloyd not being in the right position. He knew that Sek was going for an aggressive play, but he was nowhere near to provide the option of the Dark Passage to help the Twitch hightail it out of there.
So very sloppy play from both teams this game. I mean, finding themselves in very bad positions at times, and that's just not a good sign for either of these teams. But SAJ and BKT, despite playing so sloppily on both sides, they are just about even in gold. 1.5 thousand gold separates both teams, and it's still anyone's game so far.
To be fair, I believe that my postulation about Saigon Jokers and Saigon Fantastic Five wanting to play LeBlanc in the mid lane actually explains the reason why we find themselves being so unnecessarily aggressive. Because if it was the LeBlanc in those situations, that aggression is very well warranted. Because LeBlanc can easily go in, get those kills, and she's got a much higher damage as compared to Cassidy at this point of the game. Yeah, so this could be Saigon Jokers practicing with LeBlanc and trying to do the same thing with Cassidy, who has yet to hit his power spike.
So here's my question for you, J-Storm. They don't have LeBlanc now, they have Cassidy. How should they kind of change up their game plan for this game?
Well, definitely they still want to be playing things a lot more aggressively, but they should stick to only contesting those buffs, setting a vision around those areas, going for very clean steals and getting out of there. And if there's someone out of position, then simply going for an engage instead of randomly engaging onto G4 as well as the 7X, as we've seen him do time after time.
Yeah, so here needs to kind of work on their game plan a little bit, kind of shore up and decide on what they want to contest for. BKT, on the other hand, though, they have the tools that they need to use for those hard initiations. Yes, G4 might not be playing Orianna, going in with the Unstoppable Force and Mega Inferno Bomb combo and layering it with the Rat-a-tat-tat from Sek. That's a very dangerous team fighting composition that BKT has.
And now this is the situations that I am talking about. Safety and Nixwater, they're actually trying to find a pick onto 007X. Maybe they have stepped a little bit on their brake pedal a little bit, so they didn't decide to go in for the engagement, but those were the exact scenarios where we see them repeatedly overextending into the Ziggs and trash that's been there to repeatedly back up 007X.
Oh, they do manage to clear out that ward. Safety here really wants to get it onto this blue buff. 007X has his smite and so does Safety. This might turn out to be a smite wall. Oh, actually, G4 managing to pick that one up easily. So no interference from the SAJ side now. But doesn't matter because Saigon Jokers have positioned themselves in the top half of the map and they might be going for another objective shortly.
Well, Dragon will be spawning in 15 seconds, but they will be trying to find a pick on the G4.
Not much happening right there. G4 taking a little bit of damage from Saigon Jokers, but the rest of his team was there. So Saigon Jokers, you know, they weren't confident of engaging that fight.
You know, I have to say, the warding from Bangkok Titans, they've been placed in rather peculiar spots given their current game state. But nonetheless, this peculiar warding has definitely helped them spot out this rotation to the Dragon. But nonetheless, Saigon Jokers, they are able to pick up the Dragon easily for themselves. As Bangkok Titans, they were too hesitant to go into contest that Dragon attempt.
Yeah, once again, it really makes me wonder that second Dragon of the game, why did BKT not put their members there? They have the tools to allow SAJ to start the Dragon, force them in a very small area along the map, use the Unstoppable Force and the Mega Inferno Bomb combo and just chunk them down so that Sek can clean up.
Okay, this was Saigon Joker's thought process earlier in the previous minute. They walked up to the mid-tier turret, feigned like they were going towards the top lane to set up for dive against Warlock and tried to move the entire Bangkok Titans team to that area, and they used their mobility to swing around to pick up the Dragon for themselves.
Uzi getting taken down extremely low. Has launched with the Aqua Prison and the Tidal Wave, so Sek will not be able to pick up the kill for that one. Mega Inferno Bomb will completely hit nothing at all, but 007X will get himself into that fight, pick up the kill, and use the leap to get out of there. Now Archie in the backline, Safety in a whole bunch of trouble. They get 2 kills now. Archie will not be able to get away from this one. Sek gets the double kill. G4 nearly going down to Archie there, but BKT picking the fight at the right places, gets a 3-for-0 exchange.
I have to say that this is the point of time Saigon Jokers, they will be wishing that they have a Leona in this situation because they want to be going aggressive in the scenarios to find the picks. But what all Nami is doing is that she's helping them disengage away from a bad fight. Let's take a look at a replay. This is the tidal wave being dropped down. Already they've messed up the engagement, and now Uzi is dropped extremely low. 007X uses the jump and the flash to get it. He gets the kill and the reset. He jumps out there safely, and now it's a 4 against 0. A Leona in the situation would have done Saigon Joker so much more good, but Archie doesn't have relentless pursuit. Neither does he have flash. He's got no choice but to fall under the pressure.
Yeah, that's right. So the Bangkok Titans here, pulling themselves back into the game and bringing the gold deficit back to about 1,500 gold. And like I said, it is still anyone's game. SAJ just got caught out there, outnumbered, and you know, having the ultimates on the side of the Bangkok Titans just really allowed them to secure the kills. And SAJ really needs to kind of plant down some wards and not make those overextensions, allowing Bangkok Titans to constantly get in on it. But if BKT can continue to do these sort of things, and at that time they didn't even use Unstoppable Force, it was just 77XG for Sek and Lloyd that managed to pick up those 3 kills for BKT.
So the next Dragon will be spawning around the 28-minute mark, but before that, I have to kind of wonder how much more Saigon Jokers is going to go for these little skirmishes around the buffs of Bangkok Titans, because this is usually the part of the game where a team playing Saigon Jokers composition will try to veer away from that and use the fact that Aurelia has already started to scale up and exercise the 4-1 split push option, because currently just said Goni hasn't really been making his split push presence felt too much on the side of Bangkok Titans just yet.
Yeah, let's take a look at where these teams are standing now. So Dragon is now not an objective for either team to take. Baron is way too risky. What is SAJ and what is BKT looking for?
Okay, this is my prescription for what SAJ they should be doing. They should be grouping up 4 men towards the top lane, pressuring the top lane. They should send Goni down in the bottom lane to exercise their split push option, and then they can have probably set up for either that or they can go for a 3-1-1 with Nyx Water split pushing another of the side lanes with the 3 core members in the center of the map. Whereas for BKT, what they have is a very tilted up siege composition. They are waiting for Saigon Jokers to make a mistake before they turn around for an objective.
Will land safety. Safety just takes a whole bunch of damage. The tidal wave will be used for the disengage, but the Mega Inferno Bomb comes in now. Archie in the backlines. Goni with the chase potential gets the double kill with the help of Archie and his culling.
While it almost looked like Saigon Jokers might have made a mistake in that situation, but Warlock was way out of position. He was unable to respond to the rest of the fight the moment Bangkok Titans decided to go in. And as a result, although they did get a catch on the safety, the response from Saigon Jokers, the scaling onto the Irelia as well as the Cassidon of Nyx Water was just way too much for Bangkok Titans to handle.
Yeah, that was an interesting fight to say the least, because I thought Safety was just playing way too aggressive. But Saigon Jokers kind of recognized the fact that, you know, they had more members there. They could kill out Bangkok Titans faster than, you can say, Warlock is here. But, you know, Warlock never really appeared there, never used the Unstoppable Force in that fight. And, you know, SAJ just managing to get the upper hand against the Bangkok Titans, but no objective being taken despite being 2-0 and up in terms of kills in that fight.
So now we actually see the Saigon Jokers, they're grouping up together as 4 and 1, and this is what I was talking about. They need to exercise this split push option. Actually, Goni will be backing, okay, he will be going onto the turret, so the forward split push will be happening.
This is dangerous though.
It looks like,
there you go.
007X comes in.
We have 007X going in, but he does manage to get a turret, and there we see the death sentence. Goni is not going to get away alive. Oh, he actually does, because the rest of his team is there for the backup Aqua Prison for the zone. Goni gets the turret and gets away with his life.
I just want to talk a little bit about this forward split push and your possible options. When you go for the 1 man in the top lane, when you have such a high mobility composition, it definitely is a possibility and an option for the Saigon Jokers to move in for this counter engagement. But nonetheless, and that's what we went, and that's what we saw earlier.
Oh, sneaky. Will Sek be able to pick up a kill onto Safety though, but it doesn't seem like that's the case. He rides the Dark Passage out of there because Uzi and Nyx Water is there for the backup.
Okay, going back to my point about the top laners, when QTV was playing for the Saigon Jokers, he would really do a very good Darren impression. He would split push alone in the top lane, and the moment the opponent team sent 2 or even 3 members to him, the rest of the team would group up at bottom and repeatedly and rapidly shafts down objectives, so they would be trading their top laners' life for objectives. But in this situation, they are simply moving around and getting kills in the jungle. This could be their confidence in their team fighting abilities, so they do not really need shenanigans to pick up objectives, as we just saw them pick up Dragon very cleanly for themselves.
Yeah, they will take that one away. So now Saigon Jokers 27. Oh, but before that, Nyx Water is dealing with Sek. That poison tick, will it be able to kill Nyx Water though? He uses the flash, and has to use the Zhonya's as well, just for some safety, and there we go. He will use the Rift Walk and just use the Blue Pill to get back to his base for some, you know, respite and rest after, you know, picking a fight with the rat in the bottom lane and not coming ahead of that one.
It is very interesting to see Nyx Water repeatedly try to duel out Sek. I think this just shows that he isn't really that familiar playing this champion. Although Nyx Water is famous in Vietnam for having a very large champion pool in the mid lane, clearly Cassidon is not one of them.
Yeah, it doesn't show true mastery of that champion just yet. But the culling being used there, body block by Lloyd. He's just going to relentless pursuit away from that one. And Saigon Jokers now turning their attention to this bottom lane tier 2 turret, but having 4 members of the Bangkok Titans within the area, it's wise that Archie and Safety decides to back out from that one.
The movement coming in from Nyx Water is definitely very interesting, and he seems to be moving around his own side of the map a lot. He's not really creating a 3-on-1 split push at this point of time, and he's actually just moving around his opponent's jungle. His movement so far has been rather questionable and undecided, as we actually see Goni unable to make the push and presence happen, because first of all, Nyx Water is not grouped up with the rest of his team, and he's not really making a push in his own lane really happen.
Alright, not much happening just yet. Goni is going to be sent on split push duty. The teleport is up for both top laners. SAJ and BKT will be looking for a fight soon, but it's going to be quite scary for either of these teams. One clean engagement from Bangkok Titans could dispel the depth of many of these champions on the side of Saigon Jokers. But then again, a good pick from the side of SAJ will just do what the team comp's supposed to do.
I'm not really sure if this is Bangkok Titans plan coming into this split, but it almost feels like they have been playing all their games very, very reactionary and trying to win a game off their opponent's
there you go. Once again, Sek gets dived on by Nixwater, but a 4-man collapse there. Will be able to get away. There we see the Mega Photobomb coming in. G4 is now godlike. He's 8-1-2. He's legendary going into this game. Will that hit? Oh, safety nearly flashed into the death sentence. 7X and Warlock want to go in onto Goni though. SAJ loses 2 members and Bangkok Titans getting the fight where they want it to be. Don't know why Nixwater went in onto Sec once more, and that was clearly the wrong decision.
Definitely, we've seen this time and time again. Nixwater making the mistake of trying to burst down Sec. It almost feels like he's trying to play LeBlanc in these situations because that is what LeBlanc does. Whereas with this castle, he's repeatedly diving the Twitch, but actually eating way too much damage from the Twitch. As now Bangkok Titans really turning around and acknowledging that the fact that 2 members of Saigon Jokers had only just respawned and they're going for this Baron.
There we go. The Baron being taken down extremely low. Safety was nearly there in time. Archie gets caught out. He flashes away, uses the Relentless Pursuit, and the Culling Exhaust being landed onto him. 5 members chasing. Unstoppable Force just kills them now. G4 is once again legendary, and now Sek picks up the 2nd kill. Will Uzi be able to get away from this one? Nixwater has the Rift Walk away. Sek is still on the chase though. Goni, however, has managed to destroy the inhibitor turret and is now working on the inhibitor. SAJ just needs to run interference. Will BKT be able to defend this one?
Warlock is in position though. He lands the wheel onto Goni, but Goni looks like Goni will have to
you're gonna go down onto that one. Mega Inferno Ball was not even needed. Goni, you are trying to get onto this inhibitor. You might be able to get one more auto attack. The minion destroys this one. Let's see if Goni can make the greatest escape of his life after taking down the inhibitor.
Flash is still available for Goni. The last star shot will be coming. He has got a sliver of anything at this point of time. Even a gust of air will be able to take him down.
That's right. He flashes over the thick wall there. Lloyd is still chasing onto him. We will see 7X as well as, I believe, Sek trying to make the collapse. The rest of the teammates, though, they are there for the backup. Goni making that marathon sprint. He's actually trying to turn around and a shutdown onto Sek. Now 7X has to use the leap to run away. That was just the chase of a lifetime for the Bangkok Titans, and Goni manages to escape with his life.
Well, I have to say, Bangkok Titans, they are a very irritating team the way that they play. They play a very defensive, very 3 style that aims to capitalize on the opponent's mistakes, because that has been the entire way that they have been playing this game. They're just simply waiting around, turtling, and trying to catch out people the moment Saigon Jokers they decide to get aggressive onto them. But the moment Bangkok Titans they turn around, it looks like their offense isn't really that good, as we saw them over chasing way too far, and we saw Sek being way out of position and getting caught up by multiple members of Saigon Jokers.
So, despite having the Baron buff there on the side of the Bangkok Titans, they will have to deal with the wave of super minions flowing into their base in the bottom lane. Dragon is now live. Bangkok Titans should be able to pick this one up uncontested unless SAJ decides to fight a Baron buffed up team, but I don't think that that's the right decision, because right now SAJ doing a fantastic job of pulling away the map presence of Bangkok Titans, trying to force them to make the rotations, dictating where they should move.
Currently, the tiers on the turrets are the number of lives Saigon Jokers has.
Goni
goes on the 7X.
That was just a little love tap there from Goni. So 7X, not going to get taken down anytime shortly, has the Randuin's Omen and the Negatron Coke. Sek is forced to clear out those wave of super minions now, sent to the bottom lane to try to put down some lane pressure. Safety, using that opportunity, will use the time to pick up the Dragon for Saigon Jokers. Saigon Jokers, despite losing the Baron to Bangkok Titans, are still about 4,000 gold ahead of their opponents.
I have to say though, at this point of time, Saigon Joker's win conditions have been met already. Nyx Water is geared up, Goni has got Blur the Rune King, Trinity Force, as well as Rendrin's Omen complete already. Bangkok Titans on paper, they are a dead team, and the only thing that's keeping them alive now is the nice 1 and 3 G4 in the middle, chucking out those bombs and clearing those waves. However, this is what I've been saying about Bangkok Titans. All they are doing is waiting around and waiting for Saigon Jokers to make mistakes. However, the second tier turrets are still up for Saigon Jokers, which means Bangkok Titans, they not only have to capitalize on Saigon Jokers making one mistake, they need to do it a second time around if they were to be able to turn things around and go for Nexus.
The comeback potential from BKT is still quite high though, I feel. Warlock with the Unstoppable Force and G4 is Mega Inferno Bomb can lay down some insane amount of damage if they can protect Sec in the back line. And G4 as well, chunking out those bouncing bombs, and Sec with the rat-a-tat-tat. It can spell a whole bunch of trouble for the Saigon Jokers lineup.
But the thing here is that Bangkok Titans, they aren't able to proactively try to take the game into their own hands already. Because their own duelists, they aren't able to deal with the duelists on the side of Saigon Jokers. And their team fighting, if they meet 5 on 5, Bangkok Titans, they need to find a perfect engage, which Saigon Jokers is not going to let them find the time to set up for. But nonetheless, it is up to Bangkok Titans now to find Saigon Jokers overextending in a situation where they shouldn't be in order for them to take this game for themselves.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, J-Storm. Now, with the inhibitor already respawning for the side of the Bangkok Titans, this will alleviate some of the lane pressure that these super minions have been putting down. Baron will be up in approximately 2 minutes. Saigon Jokers and Bangkok Titans will have to set their sights on that objective. I wouldn't be surprised though if SAJ decides to use the time in which Bangkok Titans try to take out the Baron to go for the base, because now that the inhibitor is exposed, they can easily take down a Nexus turret or two.
So there's a minute and a half until Baron respawns. During this window, Saigon Jokers, they actually have the option of grouping up in the bottom lane to try and put pressure onto the open exposed inhibitor. But it looks like they will be recalling Goni into the base, and it looks like their next focus will be this Baron. So the next focus looks like it will be the Baron dance around the Baron pit, and I think Saigon Jokers will be trying to find the game-ending fight over there.
Alright, so Saigon Jokers and Bangkok Titans actually don't have a lot of vision control around the Baron, but Nyx Water though, wow, taken down so extremely low. Will need to rift walk away, gets out of there with his life. Both teams just, you know, dancing around the bottom half of the map. Archie is in a very precarious position. Nyx Water actually takes down Sec. Safety uses the Dragon's Rage kick to kick 7 and G4 back, and there we see the tidal wave being used to knock out both these members, and now Safety lands that one, gets the vision onto 7X. He's just gonna leap away easily, but Sec going down will signal that SAJ can put on the aggression, can turn on some aggression to the team of the Bangkok Titans. Warlock getting taken out so extremely low, Mega Inferno being used there to chunk out the members of SAJ. Goni and Safety now hammering away on the inhibitor. They're gonna get that one easily. Baron will be live in another 10 seconds or so. Saigon Jokers now just will back away from the base. Sec will respawn in about 15 seconds. He has the Infinity Edge as well, so that's a very deadly rat there. But he was caught out of position, caught out by Nyx Water. He got taken down, costed the Bangkok Titans the inhibitor.
It feels like this game should be a very good lesson in patience for the Bangkok Titans. They know that they're playing this very Munchkin-esque, very irritating composition, where the only thing that they aim to do is turtle up, and wait for the opponents to make a mistake. And what they're doing now is that they're making mistakes themselves, because they themselves are the one trying to over-aggress onto their opponents when they should be the ones just holding back, having the squishy targets in the backline, and trying to catch out the Saigon Jokers when they make these plays and attempts to find the targets of Sec and G4 in the backline.
Lloyd had to flash away out of there. That was absolutely hilarious, being caught out by Archie in the river while trying to ward up the Baron pit area. Teams are they're separated by about 4,000 gold still, so oh my goodness, 007X, you have just been completely bursted down to 1/3 of your HP by Nyx Water in a simple spell rotation. Has the Zhonya's Hourglass, a needlessly large rod, and the Void Staff. They're gonna start on to Baron right now. SAJ taking Baron down to about half HP. Can BKT respond?
This is do or die for Bangkok Titans. This is the mistake that they need Saigon Jokers to make. They need The only way one of the ways Saigon Jokers can lose the game right now is that if they go for a Baron and they get wiped in the Baron pit and the Baron buff goes over to Bangkok Titans. Because this is a situation where you can find G4 and SAJ using the architecture of the map very well to their advantage to find the damage that they want onto the major members of Saigon Jokers. But now, with the bottom lane inhibitor down, Bangkok Titans, they definitely try to defend that. But it looks like they will be rushing for the base. And once again, I feel that this aggression is going to cost them the game.
There we go. We have Next Water going in with the Zonias. He actually takes a whole bunch of burst damage. Lloyd is the first one to get taken out. Now followed by Safety. Warlock in the front lines misses the unstoppable force. Archie, can you get away from this one? He is caught between a rock and a hard place. Double kill actually for Next Water as he picks up the kill. Archie managing to survive that one. Goldie joins the fight using the teleport. This is cleanup time now for the Saigon Jokers.
And that will be game for the Saigon Jokers. The super minions in the base of that Saigon Jokers, they can actually wait for the super minions to end the game at this point of time. 23 seconds onto Lloyd, that will be the earliest member, and only the people with the actual wave clear to deal with this, G4 as well as SAJ, 40-second death timers. Saigon Jokers, they can actually walk into the mid lane, walk in the Baron pit, slash dance, and that should be game for them.
Yeah, that's right. They're just going to completely ignore these turrets. Walk up all the way to Nexus. Uses the culling just for show. Because as you predicted, the super minions has won them the game. That last-ditch effort by the Bangkok Titans to rush up into the mid lane was just not the right decision at all. Because even if they managed to get a few objectives out of that one, the super minions would have won the game for the Saigon Jokers.
Well, I have to say that that was a very valiant defense for the Bangkok Titans, considering that Saigon Jokers, they were taking the game to them, and Bangkok Titans, they did respond well when they were defending against the aggression, but the moment they felt that they had an advantage, it was their turn to make the mistakes, to get way too aggressive, and to overextend, lose multiple members, and fighting fights that they shouldn't be fighting.
I see, so... Okay, sorry, I had a voice talking in my head, couldn't multitask as Chris kind of says it. So we won't be showing the result screen, the client just randomly crashed. So let's kind of talk about the rest of the... Let's talk about how the game actually went on, because the Bangkok Titans had a good composition. They had the Unstoppable Force as a tool of engagement, and they could use the burst damage coming out from G4 and that, you know, sustained damage from the rat-a-tat-tat. But they did not, they were not proactive. That's what you've been saying all game.
Okay,
they were not proactive
I'm just
at all.
comment a little bit about the composition. Their composition plays into very well the entire way that they have been playing the previous split and this split so far. All they're doing is being a munchkin. They're not actually trying to take the game to their opponents. They're just saying, I hope we don't lose that badly, and that's all they're doing. They're not actually trying to win games. They're just trying to not lose as badly. That's why they're playing very safe with that. That's why they're playing very strong counter-initiate champions to be able to deal with whatever dice and whatever rotations that teams try to throw at them. Because these champions do very well with siege compositions as well as anything that tries to dive onto them. So they are playing a very munchkin-esque composition. But in terms of bringing the game to their opponents, the champions don't really work out too well. If they wanted to really win that game, it should have been an Orianna in the mid lane instead of a Ziggs. It should have been something like Shyvana in the top lane instead of Malphite.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, Bangkok Titans really need to work on their game. They didn't seem like they wanted to win that game at all, as you kind of pointed out. And so that's a win for SAJ. They move up tied for first place with the Taipei Assassins in their group 2-0 now. So we will be going for a short break, but before that, you know, let's kind of talk about the next game. It's going to be the Fighters versus ISG Legends. We will be back with this game. I mean, let's not talk about that game, but I just wanted to mention what the game 2 was. So